you remember a moment, event, or revelation that changed your life, your outlook, your trajectory forever? How did you feel in that moment? Were you aware in that moment that you were encountering what deep joy is all about? Hi, I'm Tim Brewster, Senior Pastor of First United Methodist Church of Fort Worth, and I want to invite you to join us for one of our 6 very special Christmas Eve candlelight communion services in the sanctuary, as we wrap up our Joy to the World Advent worship series with The Lord is Come, Incarnate Joy. In this series, we've examined joy from several different angles: hopeful joy, loving joy, unabashed joy, and peaceful joy, to arrive at the culmination of the series, the good news of God's incarnate love in the Christ child. One of my favorite Christmas stories actually happened several years ago in New York City on Christmas Eve. St. George's Episcopal Church was getting ready for its annual evening service, which always included carols and instrumentalists, dancing, and a living representation of the Nativity. This year, as people started to arrive, they were greeted by the sight of some street people on the front steps, a man and a woman with a shopping cart and a bundle of rags. Several people stopped to offer them help, and some invited them in out of the cold, but they politely declined all offers. Finally, one of the vestry members approached the rector and said, "We've got a problem." He wanted to call the police and have them remove the couple. Eventually, a patrol car came by and the people were asked to move across the street where they wouldn't disturb the worshipers. It was a beautiful service that night, and the nave was full, standing room only. Finally, the climactic event arrived. Dancers dressed in white appeared at the back of the nave to lead the Holy Family down the center aisle. As the Holy Family entered, you could hear gasps of recognition. The Holy Family was the homeless couple from the front steps. The baby Jesus was the bundle of rags they had held in their arms. As they led the Holy Family toward the altar, the angels wept, as did most of the congregation. Jesus entered the world as a homeless child, in utter humility and poverty. And now, some 2,000 years later, he awaits to enter our hearts in the same way. He waits patiently with great humility to be invited to come and to live within us. And when we do invite him in, love itself is born and begins to grow within us. In our beloved classic Christmas hymn that has set the backdrop for this season of joy, we return to the first verse to reiterate that with this joy deeply centered within us, heaven and nature sing a new song for all who have made space in their hearts to receive earth's King. I look forward to worshiping with you on Christmas Eve and celebrating anew the birth of love in our hearts.